Greetings everybody, I'm here today with a shitty new haircut, and I'm gonna talk about my life. I highly doubt there are many people out there who have followed me for the past 8 years and all the shit that has been happening, so this is for those who would care. And then I'm gonna make a separate vlog regarding what's happening right now, and then I'm gonna make a room tour because guess what? I have moved again. This is the 8th time in my life that I have moved. So let's do a brief overview of my life for the past 8 years. I was born and raised in Ängelholm, or South Sweden as I usually call it on the internet. And I lived here until I was 20 years old. Then in 2012 I graduated my gymnasium. I started working full-time during the summer. And then I built my very first PC with that money. And like everything from that old PC has been replaced, except for the disk drive and the casing. And then I had what's called a sabbatsår, where I spent like a half year doing nothing. So I wrote music, I made let's plays, I streamed, and that's where the golden age of Crims was born. I've made an entire video about that, so you can check it out if you want to. Then in 2013, I started working full-time as an intern. And then I went to a Brony meetup, which basically changed everything. I was up in Gothenburg, and I got a girlfriend. I later moved to a place east of Gothenburg for education, where I lived there. Then in 2014, I moved into that horrible cabin. I worked at a retirement home for people with dementia, and spent a lot of time with my girlfriend who lived nearby. In 2015, I started another education. I broke up with my girlfriend. I finished writing the song Misbegun, which is the first act of my album Dead Wings of Grace. And then I worked as a window cleaning dude. And then at the end of the year, I moved back down to Ängelholm. And then in 2016, that's where everything went to shit. I got heavy anxiety, suicidal thoughts. I played Undertale for the first time, made a blind let's play on that, which means a lot to me. I wrote and finished King of the Horde, which is the second act in my album. I got another girlfriend, and then I moved to Hönö, which is west of Gothenburg. And at the same time, I started working full-time at Gothenburg's University. Near the end of that year, 2 people who were close to me died, and I lost my job. Then in 2017, I broke up with my girlfriend. I lost my apartment. I moved into my ex-girlfriend's home as an emergency solution. And then I moved into that house in Gothenburg, where I've lived for the past 3.5 years. As soon as I moved into that house, I started a full-time education for fiber optics. I later finished Their Blackest Day, which is the third act of my album. I started working full-time as an intern with the fiber optics. I then started going to Hikarikai, which later gave birth to Libra Game, which is now 3 years old. In 2018, I started taking anxiety medicine. I then started an internship as a recreation leader. Near the end of that year, I stopped with my medication, which was one of the hardest periods of my life. Because my brain was so used to that medicine, it just flipped out, and I lashed out on everyone I held dear. Then in the beginning of 2019, I went to my last convention. After that, I lost contact with my best friend, but then I started living a free-form life, so to speak, with my landlord, where I didn't have any occupation, and I just lived every day carefree, going wherever I want, whenever I want, with my landlord. In the summer, I released my full album called Dead Wings of Grace, and later on, the end of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic came. And what's interesting is that the Friendship is Magic has been with me through all of these years, through all of these things that I've been going through. It has always been there. There has always been new episodes and specials and movies and music from that world, but then it all came to a close. And then we entered 2020, where we currently are. I released my top 20 games of all time video. I released my rooftops cover. And then, as we all know, the virus happened. But then something very good happened, and I'm not gonna go into any details, but it regards my family and a long overdue reunion, which made me really happy. I then started working on the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Ultimate Soundtrack collection. And right after that, I started a full-time education to become a teacher. But since there is a pandemic, the whole thing was held through online classes. And I gave it my best try, but being so isolated while going through a new education was way too much for me. So then near the end of October, I dropped out. And then we arrive at the here and now, which I'm gonna make a separate vlog for. So looking at the past 8 years, a lot of shit has happened. Mostly bad, but I feel like I have grown so much as a person. I have learned so much, and I think at the end it has made me stronger. So I don't necessarily regret everything that has happened and everything I've done, but boy, it gave me so much anxiety, and I think it's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. Now, as you can notice, there's a lot of jump cuts during this vlog, and that's because I feel kind of rusty with my English, and I haven't given this too much thought, because my head is totally occupied right now with all the shit that has been happening for the past weeks, which I'm gonna talk about in the next video. So please excuse all the jump cuts. I'm having a hard time laying down my thoughts here. Something I would like to touch upon a little bit more is a Libra game. It's my gaming community that I started about 3 years ago. And just like Friendship is Magic, it has always been there for me. Every single week I went to Libra game, I played video games with friends, and it always took my mind off of things. And the people there are very kind, and they listen to me, and it's very obvious that they care about my well-being. And I don't know what to say other than I am so grateful. There is certainly a lot of memories which I'm gonna keep with me through the rest of my life. And since I'm no longer living in Gothenburg, it's gonna be much harder for me to visit as often. So after 3 years of being Libra Games creator and leader, I am going to resign from that position. It doesn't have to be that formal, but that's just how it is. And I will most likely visit from time to time, because I still have my big brother living up there, and I have my good friend Daniel, who was my landlord up there. And as I've said, it's hard for me to take this mountain of thoughts and feelings and all of the shit that has been happening and bottleneck that shit through a YouTube video. So it's harder than I thought it would be. But yes, I'm gonna make another video regarding what's happening right now. So I hope to see you in that video. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and for all of those who has followed me through all these 8 years, I thank you so much. Having people out there following the progress of your life, it means a lot to me, and it makes me feel like I'm not alone in this. And I ain't alone in this. I know a lot of people are going through similar things. That's just what life is. So to all of you out there who are experiencing similar things, just remember that you're not alone. With that, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.